Brian, thank you so much for joining me today. Really appreciate you taking the opportunity to speak with me.
Yeah, of course, no problem.
So, can you just give me a quick overview of Lakeview, what you specialize in, what you guys are all about?
Yeah, of course. Lakeview Financial started in probably about 2005-ish, 2006 as a kind of a boutique general agency for life insurance. From there, we've grown. I started in '07, so I think I was probably the first sales guy they hired on. And from there, we've just had some great growth as a company. We've kept it small, a small, tight-knit group. But as far as production, we've done, really well for ourselves. And, a lot of that's luck and opportunity and just being prepared. So specialize in life, annuities, disability, long-term care, and some of the ancillary products as well. But that's kind of Lakeview in a nutshell. Real family oriented. We're all friends outside of the company, which is kind of unique and fun. So yeah, it's a great company to work for.
It's definitely how I feel about Proformex as well. All friends outside. It's unique. You don't find that everywhere.
No, for sure. Yep.
And so, how about just a little bit about you, Brian? What's your role with Lakeview, and then how did you get into life insurance in the life insurance industry?
Yeah, I guess I'll start with how I got into it. I have played basketball my whole life, and I was on the City League basketball team with the owners of Lakeview. And I kept bugging them to give me a job. They give me a job, and they always kind of brushed me off. But then once they found out my wife was pregnant, because I was still fairly young, I was 21 years old, 20. Once they found out she was pregnant, they were like, okay, now you have something to work for. You're not just gonna, bail out on us if it gets hard. So that's how it kind of started out. Started as just a normal sales guy here, making calls, cold calls, 120 a day or more. Just trying to drum up business. And then from there, just, like I said, kind of got lucky, being prepared, opportunity, make the right call at the right time, and then it's a big producer. And so from there, just kept getting promoted as far as roles go. So from my role right now, I kind of head up the life division of Lakeview, kind of oversee all the other sales guys here, and kind of manage carrier relationships and kind of big project type things with the owners. So day in, day out, that's kind of what I do. And then, of course, I work with my book of advisors and help them get all their cases and clients approved and issued and enforced.
Sounds like a little bit of everything. Keeps you very busy, huh?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Perfect. And so shifting a little bit of gears to Proformex and Lakeview together, how do you and the team currently use Proformex? And then I guess what type of goals are you using Proformex to accomplish?
So we started out using it as, really because we had a previous one that we liked but weren't crazy about. Then we stumbled upon Proformex and turned out to be a great system. So at first we started using it really for helping advisors just manage their in-force block of business as far as, hey, here's a lapse notice. Hey, this is an alert you got coming up. Hey, let's review this. Maybe let's do a rewrite. From there, we're really starting to dive in deeper to those at-risk policies that maybe your advisors don't call on anymore. Maybe they were GULs, and it was kind of one of those things where like, oh, I sold it. I'm going to forget about it because as long as they pay the premium, no big deal. Now we're really starting to look at all those policies that maybe we could either replace for better coverage, or if the client's situation has totally changed and they don't need the policy anymore, big life settlement opportunity if everything else meets the parameters there. So we've started with just helping advisors manage their book of business to now we're looking for new sale opportunities with them. And of course, they love that.
If you had to choose, what do you think is the most obvious benefit or value driver, if you will, that Proformex offers to customers just like Lakeview?
The biggest value add for Proformex for us is just another way to differentiate ourselves right now from the competition and be an advocate for your advisor. It's almost like another retention tool, if you know what I'm saying, in that your advisor is less likely to leave and go to another BGA or GA if they know you're on their side, helping them manage all those policies they've written and really care about their clients as well, just like they do.
That's amazing. And do you have any specific examples, maybe, or ways that Performance actually enabled a win for you with your clients?
I mean, the biggest ones are, obviously those larger cases where a lot of times these carriers, when either conversion deadline's coming up or a term period is about to expire, they only notify the policy owner, um, and sometimes not even the agent. So a lot of times you're left in the dark, and then all of a sudden the client wants to do something and you can't. So there have been multiple cases where a term is about to expire, and we've been in Proformex and we get that, and we get a notice or we get an alert for an at-risk policy, and we dive into it, we take a look at it, and we realize that, hey, we got to get them out of this because they still need the coverage, and either they don't want to convert it, but we can still get them new coverage, or hey, they are not insurable anymore at this great rate, we need to convert it. So there's been probably, I would say, 5 to 10 really large cases we've been able to convert that we probably would have missed out on just because you don't know what you don't know. And if a lot of those policies we wrote 10 years ago, 15 years ago coming due, policy management systems have changed so much over the last 10, 15 years, and sometimes things get lost in the shuffle.
That makes perfect sense. And I think you touched on it a little bit, but what would you say is the feature or part of Performex that you and your team are using most frequently?
Honestly, I would say for me and my team, it's the lapse alert notice, because I get those every single morning. I get them; they're in my inbox. The first thing I wake up to is at least 5 to 10 emails saying, "Hey, lapse alert notice." And so we dive into it and we start looking at those policies and say, "Okay, well, let's contact the owner, the policy owner, the advisor. Let's get them working on this." And usually, it's something we work through, or a lot of times it leads to a new sale because that client is looking for something different and the advisor didn't even know. So yeah, it's been great in that sense too, because just like us, clients sometimes lose, advisors sometimes lose touch with their clients.
Yeah. And so what is your outreach process like when you do receive those lapse pending notices? Is it a phone call? Is it an email? How's that work for you all?
It's been both. So we'll lead in with an email, and then we'll call, pretty much minute by minute right after we send that email saying, hey, we just sent you an email. Take a look at it when you get a moment. This policy is in danger of lapsing. Let's get on the horn with the client and see what we can do. So it's both for sure.
Shifting focus a little bit, here at Performance, we're always improving. We're always trying to make the software better and easier to use for our customers like you. And so I guess thinking long term, is there anything about Performance that you'd like to see changed or improved, to just make your life easier and match your organizational goals?
It would be nice, and I've spoke with people at Performance about this too. It would be nice within the system, for each policy that is kind of coming up on a conversion deadline, to have the system somehow feed in there the products that are available to convert to with that specific carrier. That's one that, that can take some digging. And a lot of times it would just be nice because we're all about efficiency in today's world. We all know that. Efficiency and ease. So it would be nice to have that right there saying, hey, this client can convert to these 4 products or this one product and that's it. Because that would cut down time, it would improve efficiency. But the biggest thing that we love about you guys is just the real-time accurate data. So I think just improving on that, and then the reports we can generate, which are already great, but just somehow improving on those and making it, more efficient, beneficial to us and the advisor, and user-friendly to the consumer, an individual insured. That's what we're looking for.
No, all makes sense. And I think is where we're headed and continue to head. So that's awesome to hear.
Sure.
And I guess final question of the day, and then we can let you go here. What is your advice for your industry peers who are tackling similar problems that you have dealt with prior to utilizing Performex? What would you say to some of your peers?
Selfishly, we want to keep Proformex to ourselves, but at the same time, it's a tool that would really help everybody out. In our industry and our peers, if you guys are looking for a policy management system or even just another way to stay in front of your advisors, to help them along with their career, their industry that they're in, you got to check out Proformex. You just have to. It's made our lives a lot easier. There's not a day we're not inside the Proformex system trying to mine and look for new opportunities. So my advice is to try them out, see how it works for you. And I guarantee you that you guys will see the benefits from it.
Brian, we really appreciate the partnership. It has been a pleasure. I've gotten to work personally with you and your team. It's been just a blast. And so, thank you so much for taking the time. Look forward to many more years together, hopefully.
For sure. Thanks, Max.
Thanks.